All right, so let's do the mailbag for April, shall we? Care, Frater Xavier. First of all, some praise and thank you like I do in every mailbag to you because you more than deserve. No praise needed. I'll accept your thanks, but the last thing I need is for people to start praising me. I'm also going to assume that English isn't your native language, and while the translation isn't bad per se, I'm just going to skip straight to the questions if you don't mind. To remove emotional blockages, you say to forgive those who have done you harm. What to do when this is too heavy? I have had an abusive childhood, and trying to forgive my stepmother is too overwhelming, almost unbearable physically. Well, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I mean, that's really it, isn't it? Because I also said it's one of the most difficult things for people to do. Those feelings that you get when you think back to what your stepmother has done, that anger, that resentment that you feel, that makes it so difficult to forgive her, that is the emotional block that you're trying to get rid of. That is the trauma that you're carrying around with you, deep down inside. That's causing a bunch of problems. The only way to get it out is to bring it up. You have to bring it up and out. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's difficult. But it's the only way to get rid of that emotional blockage. You can choose either to hold it in, where it will continue to do damage, continue to block you off from true emotional joy and abundance, or you can choose to get it out and be rid of it. Now, as synchronicity would have it, I received a message from somebody who has just done this. Now, he didn't really want to be in a mailbag, but I think it's important to share what it's like to have gone through this process. And of course, I'll keep his identity safe. He writes, "Hi, Frater. I recently watched your episode 50 of the Mystery School about emotional blockages. I didn't think I had any, but apparently I indeed did. I was deep into my opening trance meditation before my ritual work a few days ago, after having watched said video, is when I noticed the blockage. It started from when I was molested at 10 by an older boy, which scared me. While I was in a trance, I kept repeating to myself that it was not my fault and to let go of that pain and guilt and shame. I then started crying. And then I felt something amazing. I felt free. I think this was the source of all my mental problems as well. It's been a few days and I still feel more happy and amazing than I have in my entire life. I feel genuinely loving now. Also, these last few days afterwards, my ritual work has strengthened tenfold because of it. I can actually see the blue light when doing the LBRP and see the glowing spheres when I do the middle pillar. And when I circulate the energy, the sensation I feel has amplified tremendously. But more than just magic, my interactions with people has improved. I've noticed when I look at myself in the mirror, the amount of light in my eyes is exponentially more. I love myself much more now. And I love everybody else as well. I just want to say thank you so much. I love you, man. Best wishes." Amazing. See, he had to go through that pain of removing that emotional block to experience the joy of emotional abundance that he is now. He also understands everything that I just talked about in those lessons much more now. He's riding on cloud 9. Feels better than he has in his entire life. That trauma that he experienced as a kid no longer has power over him. He's let it go. He's carried it with him his entire life up until now, but it no longer serves him. It was blocking him off from true happiness. And so he let it go, and now the emotions are able to flow through him again That's why it's called an emotional block. It's almost exactly like unclogging a pipe to allow those emotions to flow. And by doing so, he's reverted back to his normal state. This is the state that everyone is supposed to be in. But because of guilt, trauma, and shame, we get all blocked up and then we don't operate correctly. So yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is painful to revisit that trauma and to bring it up. But it is absolutely worth it on the other side. Your abuse at the hands of your stepmother certainly wasn't your fault. But you have to understand that she probably wasn't operating correctly either, due to her own emotional blockages. If she wasn't blocked up, she would never have treated you the way that she did. Remember, forgiveness isn't for her. Forgiveness is for you, to allow you to let go of everything that she did to you, because continuing to carry it around isn't doing you any good. It's not for her, it's for you. Okay? It's probably not the answer you wanted, but there are no shortcuts on this one. Now, as for your other question, you wanted to know if it is normal that your partner is going through a spiritual crisis because of your magical work. No. You're not targeting your partner with your magic, so I doubt they have anything to do with one another. Now, I'm not going to say that with 100% certainty. The subconscious can begin to rebel on somebody when they begin to do magic, causing all sorts of problems. But I don't feel like that's the case here. I think it's just more of happenstance. If it does have something to do with it, I think it's more of the type of case where you're progressing and they feel like they're being left behind on some level, either consciously or subconsciously. And lastly, you wanted to know if your magic could be making you sick. You came down with the flu and want to know if it's related to your magic. But you also said that you were trying to use magic to break bad habits. And so this could be that subconscious rebellion that I just talked about a little while ago, especially in the case of trying to break bad habits. That's typically where the subconscious will rebel and begin to cause all kinds of problems trying to keep you from breaking those bad habits. So again, it's possible, but if it is, then it's because the subconscious is fighting back against you trying to break a bad habit. You didn't get sick just because you did magic. Okay? Does that make sense? I thank you for your questions and your support, and I do wish you all the best. Okay, this next one says, hello. Just a quick note to say thank you. Looking back on the past year, my life has been full of transformation. It happened subtly over time, but I went from having a pigsty to a somewhat clean house, from having financial issues to money coming at my request. I started a business on the side and have a better job. I went from slutting around on Tinder to having a girlfriend of 9 months. One of my servitors led me to free NLP sessions with a master practitioner. I was able to be freed of anger and fear. I wrote a screenplay with a friend and went from doing magic in my bedroom and bathroom to taking a new step tonight and sectioning off a sacred space in my basement. I feel more secure and am a better father. I am dedicating the next however long it takes to completing Liam Thomas Christopher's Kabbalah Magick and the great work of self-transformation. After being in a manipulative spiritual organization, I feel like I have been presented with a clear path for my soul to express at its full potential again. Guess it wasn't as quick of a note as I thought. My best to you. And my best to you as well, sir. I do like how you brought up that it just didn't happen overnight. The changes were subtle over time. But it's really not that long. In your case, you said over the past year. Now you do that year after year, and what do you look like in 5 years, 10 years? People think that magic means that everything's going to change at the snap of a finger, overnight. But that's not how it is at all. It does take time, although it takes a lot less time than doing it without magic. With magic, it can happen pretty fast. It seems like overnight in some cases. Some people may think a year's a long time, but it's really not. It's nothing. To me, that's pretty quick. And to be able to accomplish all that you have within that year is a pretty good start, I must say. And if you think you've transformed a lot now, wait till you finish Liam's course. You probably won't recognize who you were. So yeah, continue what you're doing, keep up the great work, and thanks for sharing and sending in your story. Much appreciated. And that will about do it for today. I know there weren't as many this time, although one was a bit longer, essentially 3 in 1, but I felt they were important ones, especially on forgiveness and removing emotional blockages. Remember to like and share this video if you enjoyed it. Join us on Patreon for early access to Mystery School videos before they're available on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Frater Xavier, and I'll see you soon. Take care.